Welcome to ONSHAPE for Makers, where we are creating models to take to the shop. Today's model is a soap dish from Too Tall Toby's website. This is a step-by-step tutorial. It is not a speed run. I'll leave the speed runs to the guys that are really good at it. I'm still learning this thing in places. We're going to build the soap dish using a sweep. We're going to use it with a fill surface. We're going to do an extrude. And we're going to do a boolean to cut the slot in the side. The Too Tall Toby website looks like this. It's got all sorts of models in there, well over 100. It's also got a Discord server where you can ask questions and volunteer information. It is a great resource from people literally all over the world participate in it. This is the model that Toby has loaned us. Nothing real spectacular about it. It's got a consistent wall thickness all the way around with an end step at the top. The radius at the bottom matches the radius on all the corners, so it's pretty much straightforward. No draft, no tapers. We're going to build it by doing a sweep surface around. That will leave a gap in the center. We will define a fill surface and then extrude the fill surface to add to the part to make the complete solid. Once we get there, we will do a extrude and small sketch in the middle to get the rib. Then we will create a tool to cut that slot in the side. There's other ways to do it. This is just a fun way to do it. We'll take the tool, do a boolean subtract from the part, and end up with the slot. So that's the game plan. This is the model. Take a picture of this and hold on to it. You'll want to refer to it as we go. Okay, starting in OnShape, we will go to the hamburger menu, set up workspace units to be millimeters, to be grams. Grams needs to be 2 decimal place accuracy. 1, I think, but I'm going to set mine to 2 for the fun. Green check mark, and we are ready to go. Where we want to start, we're going to start by drawing this outside perimeter, and then we're going to draw this in a second sketch, which is the profile, more like maybe over here, and then we will sweep it around the outside. So to get started on the top plane, we will do a Shift S or a sketch, whichever, do an N for normal, do an R for center point rectangle, starting at the origin and pulling out. We will auto dimension to 100 and to 64 for width. And by the way, my internet is in the dumpster tonight, so things are a little slow. I'm not sure why, it just is. So, okay, S key for shortcuts. We'll take the corner radius, pick 4 corners. The radius for those 4 corners is 20. And that is the profile we will use for doing the sweep. Now we will tilt ourselves up, start on the front plane with a sketch. We will do a use and pick a point right there, and that will become our profile. So N for normal. We will start with what is above, and it goes 10 up. And then it goes 15 down because the total height of the bowl is 25. So this would be 15. And then I'm going to come straight across about 15. And I'm going to escape, do S for shortcut. By the way, you can do S for shortcut, right-click, and do a customize, and add any tools off this toolbar into this little quick select thing as suits your purpose. The quick select works for not only sketching, but for assembly and for drawings and whatever. Each one has a separate quick select that you can customize. So we are going to select that, and we're going to pull it down a little bit, and the number for that is also 12. 12, hello 12. And now I need to do a quick select, and I'm going to take the offset tool, click, hold, drag, and pull out. And I need to pull out 4, which is the wall thickness. I will do a line from here to there, and I will do a V for vertical and give that a constraint of vertical. This is the 0 point, and I need to come over half the wall thickness, which would be 2. I need to come up to where I'm even with that, and that becomes the wall thickness. Now I need a full radius. To do a full radius, I'm going to do C for circle and just make a small circle, hook it to that. Then I'm going to do a T for tangent and make it tangent to this. I'm going to do L for line, Q for construction line, escape, T for tangent, and pull this up. And then do an M. M is erase. I don't know how M and erase go together. I just think of make it go away for M. That's probably not what they had in mind. Anyway, green check mark, and we have the sweep profile. If you had this a little bit longer, and I'll show you, let me show you that. That will cause a crash, but we want it to cause a crash. That will be a little bit longer. When I try to do a sweep, you will see that I can take the sweep tool, pick up this surface, and then as I take the path, the minute I hit this, it's going to crash. It should have. It didn't. It wasn't long enough. That's why it didn't. Okay. Let me redo that. I was going to show you how it crashed, and I didn't crash it. Let's make that a little longer. Now it should. I'm going to take the profile, and when I select that, I'm going to sweep this face, sweep that path, and there's the crash. And the crash is caused by the length of this is in multiple times because the pivot point is past the arc, so it can't resolve this at all. So that's what happened when this becomes too long on a sweep and you have a corner and it crashes, is you're getting overlap in the corner. You simply solve it by shortening this up, and I'm going to shorten this back up to 15, which is what we had. I swear I'm going to buy an internet somewhere, but I don't have access to one. Go back to sweep, select the profile, select path, and then I'm going to right click on this line and go down to select and say tangent connected edges. And it will select all of the edges in one click, green check mark, and we have everything but the hole in the middle. The hole in the middle is because it didn't crash, because if it had been longer it would have crashed here. That's what we saw a minute ago. To make a fill surface, we need the boundary line, so I'm going back and right click again. I'm going to select tangent connected edges and pick up the edges of that hole. And then I'm going to come up to the top and select fill, and it's with the surface bunch in here. It's not fillet, it's fill. And when you connect it, if you'll watch over here on the left, you will see I have created one surface, and that is this surface. Surfaces are interesting things, and in this case are excellent. Now I'm going to extrude. I'm going to select that surface, which is fill surface 1. I'm going to extrude it 4 millimeters the thickness of the wall and do an add and a check mark, and I have that. I can hide the surface. I can actually, if I wanted to, delete the surface at this point and it would not damage anything. But that's the way you create this. The other way you could have done it, you could have drawn a rectangle, then extruded the rectangle into a cube, rounded the cube corners with fillets, rounded the bottom with a fillet, then done a shell inside with a 4 millimeter wall, and then come back with a thin extrude or a sketch and an extrude and cut this inside wall down to make this shelf. That would have been just as valid and just as good a model. It's just a different way of doing it. There is no one perfect way to do a model. It's whatever works for you consistently is the best way to model. Okay, on the right plane, I am going to start a sketch. And what I want to do is I want to get this line where this right plane intersects this part. To do that, I'm going up here to where normally it says use. Under there, there's also intersection. So if I select intersection and start selecting these surfaces, I can get the actual line where that plane cuts the part, and because we drew it at the origin, that's the exact center of the part. So I can hide the part now, and I have a line that goes from here to there, and that becomes that center rib. The center rib has 3 holes in it, or drain holes, so I'm going to sketch and take a center point arc, pull it down till I'm in the center, come out, over, out, make it 5, and then I'm going to pick one, come over, make it 5, and then I escape, D for dimension, pick between them. The distance center to center is 14 millimeters. I can either do a quick construction line here or turn the plane back on, which would have been just as well to have this line. I can go to mirror, select the edge of that plane, select this circle, and I have my 3rd hole in this rib. Green check mark, turn the part back on so we can see it. And we should have that right there, and we're going to go to an extrude. It is only 2 millimeters wide. We're going to do symmetric, do add, green check mark, and we have our rib in the bottom. It has fillets across here, and those fillets are 2 millimeters. So you select, if you select this, you're going to get a whole lot of fillets. If you select just the little lines, you get just the fillets. If you select here, then you're going to get the full fillet, and here you'll get the full fillet. And then I'm going to turn the part around, do exactly the same thing on the other side, and do a green check mark. And just for the fun of it, I'm going to go over here to the feature list, right-click the word fillet, go to Add Appearances of Feature, and select a color. Because Toby had a color, I need a color, whatever. Anyway, those are the fillets you can see on the rib. The only thing we lack is the slot in the side. The slot in the side, if I can get this to go full scale here, is long here, and it is 2 millimeters from the inside of the bowl to the bottom of the slot. So we're going to use the inside of the bowl for a sketch surface, and then when we do the extrude to form this tool, we're going to offset the starting point of the extrude by 2 millimeters, so it forms this to do the cut with. I could have created a construction plane, an offset plane, and all that, but you don't have to, so I chose not to. But I'm simply going to start a sketch on that surface. I'm going to do N for normal. I'm going to do G, and G is just a corner point rectangle. I'm going to pull it up, and by holding the Alt key down, I get a automatic square. So I only have to put in a 30 dimension, and I get 2 exact sizes. I'm going to D for dimension. From the outside edge to this edge is 22 on the depth of the cut. And from this to this is 22, and I may get an error here because of constraints. Nope, got away with it. Okay, so that is going to be our cutting tool. We're going to green check mark, we're going to select the sketch, we're going to select extrude, we're going to extrude it to 5 millimeters thick. We're going to make it a new part, and I want to start the extrude 2 millimeters above where it is, so I'm going to starting offset blind 2 millimeters, and it will move it up exactly 2 millimeters off the floor. I'm going to say check, and then when I hide the bowl, you'll see the part we just made. I'm going to fill it, and I'm going to do, if it's 5, I need half of 5, so I'm just going to 5/2 for the diameter, for the radius. Select the top side, select the bottom side, check mark, and I have nice round corners to make that cut. I will redisplay the part, and there is where the cut is going to be. I am coming up to Boolean. I'm going to subtract, not union, but subtract the tool from the target. The tool is the tool we made. The target is the bowl. And green check mark, and we have a slot, and the slot finishes this part. If we go to the part and right click and select assign materials, the Too Tall Toby parts use his library. On his site there are instructions on how to build your material library for several systems, not only ONSHAPE. And you can do that. This is an aluminum part. And then we're going down to the right hand corner and select the display mass properties and select it, and it should come out as 101.4 for the right mass if you got the part correct. Anyway, that's about all there is to this one. Hope you guys have fun. Catch you guys later. Have a good one.